All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Raw Intuition Health Show. We're doing another call-in show today. We were scheduled to have Juicing Jules on today, but she had to reschedule last minute. She's got some things going on she had to take care of. So we are just going to... what's up, Tessa, JJ, Judith? Great to see you guys. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being patient with me, starting late as usual. Carl, what's up? Thanks for giving me the sound check. Appreciate that. So we're going to do a call-in show again today. So if anybody wants to jump on the show, I will get the link in the chat here, and anybody can join me here and ask their questions. It might be a little shorter show today, and I might actually have to jump off early just because I have an important package coming that I need to sign for. And so I might just take a break, go to be right back, and then I'll go do that and come back if you guys are still here, and we can finish the show. But otherwise we might just end early. But either way, we'll get some good conversation going here in the meantime. And yeah, so let me get the chat link in the chat box here. And if you guys have any questions that you don't want to jump on camera for, you can always put them in the chat as always. All right. How did everyone's weekend go? There is the link in the chat. If you guys want to jump on the show, feel free. I'd love to see you and have a conversation and answer any questions. But while we wait for the questions to roll in, I just want to highlight a couple cool books that I've received in the recent days. So we've got Heal Thyself, Embracing Our Natural Diet for Optimal Health by Maria Manaza. If you guys remember, quite a few weeks ago here, we had Maria on, and that was a great show. So she sent me her book. That was really cool of her. I appreciate that, and I look forward to diving into it a little more. And then also, just the other day, I think yesterday, I got Pam Christian's new book. So that's really cool as well. It's called I Hope You're Having a Great Day. I Know I Am. So a nice little self-help book that I am looking forward to reading as well. So my camera's getting really zoomed in here. Let's take it back a notch. There we go. So yeah, that is a couple cool things I received that I was excited about. So if you guys want to check out either of those books, they are both on Amazon. Definitely recommend checking them out. And as always, guys, check out my books as well. We got 21-Day Raw Transformation Program, 5-Star Salad Revolution, or 5-Star Digestion. If you have read them, I encourage you to go write an honest review on the Amazon page. Really helps me out a lot and helps get the book out to more people. Got that Zoom going. Crazy. All right. Okay. Also, just throwing out all these new updates here. I got Dr. Ben's new Green Force powder here, and I am honored to be an affiliate now for Green Force. I actually got my smoothie here that I'm finishing up. It's got Green Force. It also has Daily Green Boost, and it also has E3 Live. All right, so these are 3 green powders that I like to use, and I just so happen to be an affiliate for all 3. So, first and foremost, I'm excited about this new one that Dr. Ben came out with. And so I got all the links. If you guys want to check out any of those green powders, check them out below. Dr. Ben has a 20% discount on my code. So if you want 20% off, use my link. All right. Good deal. Okay. Enough of the promotion. If you guys have any questions, I see a couple coming in here, so appreciate that. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Judith. I'm going to get to your questions. Sherry, what's up? All right. Now, first question here. Carl says, how are you getting on with your grounding mat bed sheet? I really want to get one, but I've heard mixed reviews. Great question, Carl, and great reminder because I haven't actually done it yet. I mean, I've done it, but I haven't gotten it back out of storage. So I'm gonna do it. Thanks for the reminder. I'll do that today, and I will report back next call-in show. All right, or sometime before then. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna start using it on my bed, and I will let you know. The first time I tried it, I didn't really notice anything, so that's why, I never really talked about it too much, because didn't really feel any difference. But I'm gonna try it again. I'll give it another shot. Maybe something's changed since then. So we'll give it a try, and I'll let you know. Judith says, do you have any tips for getting through the holidays? All right, so we're gonna actually have a whole show on this very topic coming up here. I'm hoping the guest, I'm not going to say who it's going to be, but it's a pretty big, high-profile name, and I'm really excited to have him on the show. We've been talking about it for a little while now, but we haven't quite figured out a date yet, but I'm hoping it's either next Sunday or the Sunday before. I want to have it before the actual holidays start, and so that can give you guys some time to prepare and get ready to have the best holiday get-togethers or just holiday season as possible. But just a few tips that I can give you just off the top of my head as far as getting through the holidays would be, first of all, like we talked about last week with Katarina, preparation is one of the biggest things that you really have to utilize if you want to have a successful, healthy, enjoyable holidays. All right, so you got to prepare. You got to make sure you've got enough whatever you want to eat. I would recommend having enough ripe fruit. So now we're getting into persimmon season. I haven't personally purchased any persimmons yet, but they are on my to-do list. And so I typically get those at the Asian market. They're not usually at the regular grocery stores as much, and if they are, sometimes they're questionable. So I just get mine at the Asian market here, and so yeah, looking forward to persimmons. And another thing that I would say is before you go to your holiday gathering, eat before you go. Eat something before you go. Like have a smoothie, or have some fruit, or have a salad or something to give you, to take off the edge when you're at your holiday gathering. And that way, for those of you out there that are easily tempted by whatever else is on the table, then the cravings will be much less if you have something in your stomach when you get there. And so that would be something that I would recommend doing, is eating before you go. Prepare enough, make some recipes. So in 21 Day Raw Transformation Program, I put some of my very favorite and best holiday recipes that you can use, and that I would say make up a batch of wild rice stuffing. So these are my favorites. Wild rice stuffing. You can make the chili, the famous raw intuition chili. You could make, let's see, another one is, I know there's another one. You could make the angel tomatoes. Oh, yeah, those are really good. So, look at the recipes in 21 Day Raw Transformation Program. I know you've got it, Judith. So look through those recipes, find the ones that you really like. Like I said, I really like and this is what has been most requested from me when I go to the holidays from family and friends, is the wild rice stuffing, the chili, and I know there's another one. I can't think of what it is, but either way, there's some really good, like, bulk hearty recipes in there that would work really well for the holidays. You could even do the tuna sliders. That would be a good appetizer. You could do the veggie loaf. The veggie loaf would be a good one. That's a little more labor intensive. The other ones are much easier to prepare, to create. But yeah, there's several recipes in there that I would recommend checking out and enjoying with your family. All right. I don't know what's going on with this thing here. Back up in my space. So yeah, that's what I would say. Prepare some good recipes that you can share and that's going to make you enjoy it. You're something that you really enjoy that you can just focus on. That's going to keep you from being tempted by other things if that is something that you struggle with. Annie says raw pie. Yes, I actually just bought a little mini pumpkin. I'm going to make some pumpkin pie with the pumpkin, persimmons, dates, pecans, maybe some vanilla. That's super simple to make a raw pumpkin pie, and a delicious pumpkin pie at that. I don't think anybody at the dinner table is going to complain if you bring a raw pumpkin pie. All right, let's see. Debbie says, do you eat sprouted sunflower seeds? Not really. I mean, I would, but I don't. That's not something that I've had. I can't remember the last time. I probably had them at some point, but not something that I do on a regular basis or even an infrequent basis. But I wouldn't, that sounds fine to me. Now, I would make sure it's organic, and yeah, then I don't see a problem with that. Let's see here. There's some more questions. Oh, we see we got Extropian Transhuman in the chat. What's up? Oh, and she might be jumping on here too. Somebody's in the chat, or somebody's in the waiting room. So we're gonna get to whoever's in the waiting room here shortly. Let's see here. And oh, I can hear you. Nobody else can hear you right now, though. But yeah, I will bring you on here in just a moment. Cool. Thanks for joining too. Nice. All right. Yeah. Let's. Oh, you did. Nice. Cool. All right. Well, here. Let me get you. I gotta do a few things to get you on the show here, and then I will bring you in. Right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Right. Right. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. All right, what's up? I see Mallory's in the chat. She says, hey, healthy pals. What's up, Mallory? Thanks for being here. And let's see, are there any other questions before we bring in Extropian Transhuman? Sherry says, I'm making her hungry. Well, I'm glad to make anybody hungry with the recipes and promote my book at the same time. All right, we're almost set here. And again, just a reminder to make sure you hit that like button, the thumbs up button on this video, and subscribe if you haven't. Share this video around if you want. All right, here we go. We are. Welcome to the show. What's up? We got. How do you prefer to be? Do you prefer Extropian Transhuman or something? Do you prefer Jen?
It doesn't matter. You can say extropian, however way it works.
All right, Extropian. All right, cool. ET, does that work? ET?
It sounds like extraterrestrial.
It does. All right. Can everybody else just
Extropian sounds good.
Extropian. All right, I got you. Extropian. Can you guys just confirm in the chat that you can hear Extropian here with us? Kayleen, what's up? Thanks for joining. Annie, I'm not sure if okay, Carl says they can hear you, so perfect. All right. So we have Extropian in the chat here. I would put the title of the guest each time, but that would be a little much. But yeah. So Extropian, how are you today?
Good, you?
I am so good. Thanks for joining. So you got some suggestions for people for the holidays and some recipes, I hear?
Yeah, I do. I'm looking at them and there's a lot of dessert ones, but I could run through like the ones I've come up with.
Yeah.
So most recently I got like the pecan pie, where it's like two ingredients. It's like pecans and dates.
Nice.
You take like the pecan halves and you line them up on the bowl. Then you take like the big majol dates and you like, as you pull out the pit, it like opens, and then you could put those like flat on the pecans.
Yep.
And then it's like there's always that one ingredient that keeps you from making like the recipe. So this was a secret ingredient. You take like some of the majols that kind of have that kind of like jelliness to it,
Yeah.
and they're kind of golden. So that's what would go into the center of the pecan pie. And
Nice.
you would put that in, and then you layer the top with pecans. And that's how you make a raw vegan pecan pie.
I love it. Do you have
Thank you.
this? Do you have on your website? Do you have these recipes
Yes.
listed? You do. All right. What
Yeah.
can you remind everybody what your website is?
Yeah. How do I give it to you? Wait, I'd have to email it to you because YouTube will delete my links if I post it. And not only do they delete it, they just ban me from the chat altogether.
Really?
So,
Okay. Yeah, just email it
yeah.
to me. I'll put it in the description box once we
Thank
publish.
you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. So, wait. Well, your I'm trying to get your like email going. Okay, let me just send it really quick.
Cool.
Okay, I sent it. Wait, I didn't I didn't send it. What am I doing? I'm live and I'm taking up all this time.
No, it's all right.
Okay, here you go. Okay, I sent it. Anyway,
Perfect.
that way people could follow along.
I love it.
So, instead of like turkey for the centerpiece, you could do either like a harvest basket where you can put all sorts of like fruits and vegetables in there,
Mm.
that people could just pick and eat, and or like even a pumpkin that's stuffed. And I heard you can even do you can even eat pumpkin raw, according to Raw Christina.
Yeah.
She just eats the pumpkin raw.
Oh, really? As
Yeah,
just
actually,
by itself?
yeah, it's funny. There's how spaghetti squash will like pull apart into like spaghetti pieces?
Yep.
Well, a pumpkin actually does the same thing. So
Mm.
you can make like pumpkin noodles from the pumpkin
Interesting.
and that are just raw.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have never tried that. The only time I've used
I
pie pumpkin is just blending into a raw pumpkin pie, but I've never used it any
no.
other way.
You're not opening your mind up to the possibilities here.
Clearly, I know. Well,
That's
now,
why I'm here.
yes,
I open people's minds.
I
So yeah,
appreciate
you
that.
can make I guess you can make like some sort of, I don't know what kind of pasta you could do that's a Thanksgiving pasta. Um but something something anyway. Um there's a like a non-baked non-baked apple where you just like core it, you stuff it with like raisins, cinnamon,
Mm,
um some nuts, I guess like pecans, hazelnuts. I try to stay away from like the almonds due to the bees, but I know you found it an alternative, which is the ones that are outside of California.
yep, Spanish almonds.
Yeah, so you could do those. I just um kind of stay away from the almonds because they're uh they're not really native to America from what I know.
Okay,
But also it's kind of high in oxalates in
sure.
general. So um like you could do, I guess, I don't think I think sunflower seeds are indigenous, but I think the hazelnuts. Oh yeah, there's walnuts. Walnuts you could do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for pecan, oh sorry, I did that one. The pumpkin pie. What you do, since you were talking about persimmons, is you kind of do the same crust where it's like the uh pecan halves with the majoles on top.
Hmm.
But for the center, what you do is you take the pumpkin, you gotta have you kind of need to like puree it. I guess you could cube it if you really wanted to, but I'm not like that far enough yet in my raw veganness. but but yeah, you take the pumpkin, and you blend it, and then you mix in um the persimmon, but you like take off the skin. You just put the innards in, and then you mix cinnamon into it and on top. And that's how you make a pumpkin raw vegan pumpkin pie.
Wow.
There you go.
And this is on your website, right?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
This is
So
what I make, for my Thanksgivings.
nice.
And yeah, people get weirded out, but I'm like but that's cuz they want to like figure it out.
Yeah.
There's some recipes I have never made in person, but I kind of like made it in my head. So one day I'll try it in person, but usually what's in my head will work in person.
Yeah.
Um but I'll go through the ones that I've done in person first
Okay.
before we
And
get into the mental ones.
yeah, how long have you been on your raw vegan journey?
Since I was I don't know, between 3 and 5 years old.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Do you mind
Yeah.
sharing how old you are now?
Well, I'm a millennial, so
Ballpark?
at least in
Okay.
my like 30s.
Okay. All right. That works. Cool. So you have a lot of experience, in other words.
Yes. Yes, I
Perfect.
do.
All right.
I I've really gone all out with this cuz I really didn't like going in a cooked food direction, so I've really kept it mentally in my head and just thought everything through that. But there's not much resources out there, so that's why it stays in my head and I
Yeah.
bring it to the world.
Perfect.
But anyway, so then oh yeah, so then we got like succotash salad,
Mm,
and I believe you can eat like lima beans if it's a green unripe lima bean raw, but just in case, you can always do, just the corn and the, bell pepper.
okay.
Yeah, you could probably replace the lima beans with, like, okra or something like that.
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure.
That might
I'm
get
not
kind
gonna
of
risk it.
yeah, that might be risky. I don't know.
Yeah, I think just the corn and the bell pepper. I guess you could do, like, green bell pepper. That
Okay.
might work.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, of course, like, salad. That's not that's a no-brainer. We don't have to talk much about that. And
Right.
then I was thinking, like, um, there's, like, stuff like acorn bread and then cornbread. So, I
Mm,
don't believe you really need to, make, like, cook the acorns, because I actually forage, and that's kinda how I got into the raw stuff is by foraging.
okay.
And I'll eat the acorns right off the tree, because the ones where I live, they're very buttery already, so they don't really need to be, leached for tannins or anything like that. As long
Gotcha.
as you eat, like, the inside, like, if you're eating the covering, I guess, of it,
Yeah.
it's, like, brown, that's where the tannins are, because tannins are
Right.
brown.
Yep.
But inside's buttery. So you can make acorn butter and acorn bread from that.
Amazing. I've never heard of acorn butter or well, I mean, makes sense for butter, but I've never heard of acorn bread. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's one of those Native American recipes or something. But
Cool.
yeah, you can make acorn bread, and then you can make acorn butter, and then you could do the same for corn. You can
Okay.
make corn bread and corn butter. So there you go.
Nice. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I
I
hope
think
everybody's writing this down or going to your website that I will
yeah.
post in the description box. So,
Yeah, and then you could also make like pumpkin butter, you know,
yep.
if you don't do corn butter or acorn butter. Um so yeah, that one's just, like blended pumpkin with some pumpkin spice. Yeah,
Okay.
in it. And then I okay, so there's like this like special mulling spice that I found in the stores, and it's I think it's these are like whole pieces like cinnamon and orange peel, ginger and allspice and stuff. And
Okay.
when you add it to water, it's a really nice like infused water in the morning.
Wow.
Cuz if it's tea, it's going to be not raw.
Right.
So I do infused water instead.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, and then instead of maple syrup, there's something called maple water, which is just the sap of the maple
Uh,
tree.
okay. So it's
Yeah,
not boiled or whatever
no.
they do. Okay.
And when you taste it, it doesn't taste roasted, so that's how you could tell.
Interesting.
Yeah, it tastes
Where?
like maple syrup. Uh-huh.
Okay. Where do you get that? Is that like, do they have that at stores?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that's where I would get it from,
okay.
are the stores. You
Interesting.
could I think you buy it there's some that are in a bottle and some that are in the box. Let's see, maple water, because there's a brand that I would drink
Okay.
from.
Cool.
I think there's well, it was a clear bottle. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. So let's see. It says sap on tap. That one. There's sap on tap. I also drank the Drink Simple brand, but I do like the sap on tap way better.
Okay.
Um, but the Drink Simple brand does have it in box form.
Nice.
But yeah, the best one's the sap on tap. But anyway, yes, you could get maple water, and you could probably add cinnamon or whatever you want to it to make
There.
it the mulling spice. You add the mulling spice to the maple water,
Okay.
and then you're in for a real treat. Actually, I should write that down as a recipe. What am I
Yeah.
thinking?
Okay. Write it down.
I know, right? Okay, wait, let me write that down really quick.
All right. I'm
Because I'm
looking.
like,
I'm
yeah.
looking on Amazon. I'm gonna see if maple water is.
Infused, infused maple. Wait, I should call it spiced maple water. Oh my gosh, that'd be perfect. I was like trying to find recipes. I was like running out, but
Yeah.
um, I definitely got the Thanksgiving recipes covered for the vegan ones. But like raw vegan, I'm like picking, but most of them I tend to make raw vegan. Now this one's really funny because I made this one in my head, and it's one ingredient. It's
Okay.
a one ingredient apple pie, and it's
Ooh.
just apples.
Hey.
So what you do is you take like you gotta cut the apple peel, to layer I think you cut it in half, and then you kinda, like, take, the each half and, like, use it to layer the bowl, and then you, may it create applesauce, put that in the middle, and then you decorate with, those apple wedges and make it go all the way around. I guess you can
Sure.
add cinnamon if you really wanted to.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, there you go for like your apple pie. Um and then what else do I got here? Well, I have something special. I'm not sure if it's like Thanksgiving per se. I've never seen this, but um there's something it's related. It's called pemme. You know the pemmican?
Pemmican? No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, like pemmican. It's like a jerky that's made from like meat and with some, berries.
Okay.
But I was watching the Native American documentaries, and what their warriors would use for the like tribal warriors, what they'd eat was either meat or like the pemmican or acorns, and they
Hmm.
said both of them would, just a few bites would lead them to like, running around all day.
Okay.
So it's like, why not just replace the meat with the acorns? So
Right.
yeah, I was like, put the acorns with the berries, and they're Saskatoon berries, and then there you go. And so I was watching like Max Miller on YouTube, and
Uh
he was like, either you could pemmican or you pemmican't. So I
huh.
was like, I'll call this pemmican't. So
Nice.
there you go. So
Yes.
there's that. And then
Yeah. I
there's a
heard an
yeah.
interesting fact that acorns are actually one of the main food sources for bears before they hibernate. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know, but the thing is I feel like people hibernate too. So
They
maybe it
do.
makes sense to for us to eat acorns too before we go on into
Yes.
our
Yes.
into our hibernation mode. Yeah, I feel like Thanksgiving is like the main meal of the year?
Yeah.
That way, like, kinda, burn it off while you're asleep until
Right.
spring.
Right. Yeah, it gets you through.
Yeah, exactly. So then there's something called the Three Sisters, and I feel like this is really where the origins of Thanksgiving come from because, with the Three Sisters method of growing the corn, beans, and squash, you were able to get, um like, people to survive,
Yeah.
and it was, like, the bringing together of Native Americans with, like, um, the incoming pilgrims,
Yep.
and so the thing about, like, beans is that I feel like some of them are edible raw, like green chickpeas and stuff, like, if they're in their green stage,
Mm. Okay.
um but just in case, you don't wanna, like, eat them raw, there are other sisters, and one of them's strawberries. So
Mm.
instead of doing beans, you could do strawberries, squash, and corn. There
Okay.
you go.
Wow.
Yeah. There's another one called they're the purple potatoes, but
Uh huh.
I think that's getting a little too far. I think yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Judith
go ahead.
Judith asked, "What type of teas do you drink?"
Well, if I do like tea, it's more like an infused water. So I
Mm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
just take whatever would be a tea and infuse it. So, um, I might take something like so chamomile. It'll grow wild, but there's certain forms of chamomile that you don't see in a store. Like, there's one called pineapple chamomile, and that one's way better than a regular chamomile because it's so strong in flavors and it has that pineappliness to balance out with the chamomile. So um, I'll do the pineapple chamomile in water,
Okay.
and then I also do pine needles too.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
um,
What does that taste
you
like?
you know pine needles.
Yeah.
Um, they taste like how they smell, but a little more powdery.
Okay.
But if you take, like, just the juice alone, it's more like a green taste, kinda like you're in a forest, kinda grassy.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Have you heard
Nice.
of pine needle tea?
You know, I might have, but not. I can't think of when it was, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay. No worries. I'm catching you up. And yeah, probably pine needles would be a good, kinda like infused water for, Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Give it a
Actually,
try.
I'll tell you a secret.
Okay.
There's something, that the Tea Party, right?
Yep.
So what happened was during the Tea Party, when they weren't drinking the British tea,
Uh huh.
they would, consume they were trying to find alternatives. So they found this one alternative called, New Jersey tea, and um it's an herbal plant. It, it's I don't think that's gonna be easy for me to pronounce, so I'm gonna just post it in the chat because 'cause I'm
Okay.
not gonna there you go. I no, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, the New Jersey tea is like, a patriotic tea that is instead of, the British tea, so that's kind of more like American if you wanna celebrate,
Wow, yeah.
like
Cool.
Thanksgiving the American way.
All right.
So so yeah, I've never tried that one before, but
Yeah,
obviously I've done a lot of other teas.
very nice. Do you Judith also wants to know, do you have a hot chocolate recipe?
Yeah, I don't like chocolate so much because it has the caffeine in it,
Yeah,
but, so I usually do a carob, but I do realize
yeah.
that chocolate is an American food, so, um, I would say that there is did you know that you can get chocolate juice?
I did not. No, you're
Yes.
teaching me a lot of things today.
I know, right? I I hope to teach, like, so much. So there's something called, like, chocolate fruit juice. So if you want it and
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why she's saying hot did she say hot chocolate? I'm like,
She
"This is a
did,
raw show."
yes. She did.
This is so funny. So, yeah, what you could do is you could take, the chocolate fruit and juice that, and you can have that as an alternative to your hot chocolate.
Okay.
Um, and I think it probably so what it tastes like is like honeydew, but with a slight amount of chocolate in the back and maybe some cocoa butter or something, but
Mm,
it's mainly like honeydew, you know?
okay.
So you could do that. And then if you want like mini marshmallows, I use like apples. I
Mm,
just, dice them.
yeah. Does that remind you of marshmallows?
Yeah, it does.
Nice.
But they're, like, naturally sweet, so it's kinda better. Pears kinda work too as from what I heard, but they're not as, like, dry, and, like, out of, the fruit as an apple would be. So
Okay.
those are more spongy, and sweet.
Right.
Um, I mean, but you have to add the marshmallow root to it because original
Mm,
marshmallows were made from the marshmallow plant.
okay.
And you knew about that, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, yeah. So like the original marshmallows were made from the marshmallow plant and they were used as medicine because back in the day they had all sorts of apothecaries and pop up like pharmaceutical that's
Yeah,
where when the snake oil salesman came out like
right.
everyone was putting something like the Coca-Colas, the Dr. Peppers.
Yeah.
So like one of them was like marshmallows and so
Okay.
it was a way for it was like a medicine, and they'd sweeten it so kinda like cough syrup
Mm.
so that people could take it to get well, 'cause, it has that mucilage,
Yep.
and that
Yep.
kind of keeps people's throats from getting bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Sherry said she has a raw cacao powder with hot water and organic stevia that she has for a treat. Uh, what I would say, and I know Extropian just mentioned the caffeine in cacao, but also cacao is highly likely to be contaminated with cadmium. So that's
Oh,
another
yeah.
reason you want to be careful with cacao, and that's why I would choose carob versus cacao, because that, to my knowledge, does not have that cadmium contamination. So
Yeah,
there's
and
that.
then there's also I guess you could probably do, like, cacao nibs because, I bet, like, during the grinding process, it probably adds a lot of metal
Possibly, yeah,
depending on how they're grinding it
sure,
into a powder.
yep.
Yeah, but there's also white chocolate, but there's more to it than just, like, cadmium. It's, like, anandamide, which is, like, a
Mm,
cannabinoid. There's,
yep,
um, the high fat in, cacao butter, like high saturated fat,
yep,
theobromine. I know people can tolerate it, but it's still kinda, like, poisonous to even us, so,
right,
all of those, and more.
sure. Yeah, So just another reason I think to go with carob versus cacao.
Well, if you really want to get festive for like Thanksgiving, you could do apple cider. You don't really have
Yeah,
to do chocolate.
it's
I don't
true.
even know how chocolate relates. But yeah, you could
Yeah,
do apple cider.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I don't know how apples relate because apples don't come from the Americas, but what can you do?
Oh, are apples not native to the U.S.?
No.
Really?
No.
Wow, I did
I
not
mean,
know
I know
that.
there's Johnny Appleseed, but I heard they
Yeah,
come from Azerbaijan, according to Lena Robb. Yeah.
interesting. Hmm. Okay. Um, and then just for Judith, my quick recipe, if you are looking for like a hot cocoa type of drink, I like to just blend up dates with carob powder in the Vitamix. It's dates, water, and carob powder, and it just makes basically like uh I don't know, or a sweet chocolatey drink. So you could try that too. I think that works pretty well for people.
You know, when I mix dates with cinnamon, that tastes pretty chocolatey.
Yeah. Yep. You can add cinnamon
Yeah,
too. Yep.
and I was trying to think what I use as, like, chocolate replacements, because I know they use, like, chicory instead of, um,
Mm-hmm.
like, for coffee and, like, dandelion root for it
Right.
too, so
Yeah.
maybe there are, uh, I'm, like, thinking licorice I don't know, I'd have to, like, really think on that one, but I
Yeah.
don't really like chocolate to begin with much 'cause, I don't know, it just tastes too bitter,
Sure.
compared to, like, carob,
Yeah.
but it's something to think about. There are, like, there are, like, relatives of chocolate, like the macambo beans, but I feel like it still would have the same issues like the caffeine, the high saturated fat, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So so the quest is still on.
It is. Yes.
Anyway.
We've got Maria in the chat here. She says we offer this recipe in our natural diet support group members group. She said she loves it. You blend 5 medjool dates in water and add a tablespoon of carob, and then blend it, and then it gets warm. So yeah, that's a lot like what I do too, Maria. And Maria, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I mentioned your book, so I hope people will go out and check out your book, Heal Thyself. I haven't got through it all yet, but looking forward to getting through it. So thank you for sending that, and everybody should check that out. And Maria is in the chat if you want to ask her any questions too. So thank you, Maria. All
Yeah, and
right.
what does Judith think about the idea of like chocolate juice instead, like the fruit juice instead of the chocolate itself, like the seed?
Yeah, good question, Judith. Let us know.
Yeah, because the issue with seeds is that they tend to have like more concentrations of like toxins and um just problematic chemicals. Because the thing is, if you look at the top 8 allergens that are plant based,
Mm-hmm.
they're nuts and seeds.
Sure.
And why is that? It's because they're plant babies, like, the plant doesn't really want you to eat them, so
Right.
it wants you to eat the fruit instead. So fruit tends to be a lot less allergenic and a lot less toxic
Yep.
for people than the seed is. So maybe looking at that, and also it tends to kind of be wasted a lot more. So to get that, would kind of be upcycling.
Sure.
So it's an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Let's see, Judith, or no, let's see, there was a question. Kayleen said, is there a way to sprout carob to lower the lectins?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, if how else do you get a carob tree outside of sprouting it, right?
Yeah, I. It's a good point, but I've never looked into that, so
I
I
have
know very little
I
about the actual carob pods or how to grow them or anything like that. So yeah, what do you know?
so I heard that if you soak seeds, then it reduces the lectins.
Yeah,
And
but can you
so even if you
sprout?
don't sprout it, at least soaking.
Okay, so you can sprout the carob pod. Is that how that works? Or you
Um,
take the bean out of the pot and then you sprout it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to realize so some, like, carrot pods are very, dry,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of are, like, already powder. Some of them are more, like, uh, soft, and those are more for, like, syrup.
Okay.
So, but yeah, for the dry I think it might be harder to get it out of the softer ones, but yeah, if they're, like, already dry, then it should be easy to take out the seeds. Um,
Hmm.
I think for the most part, microgreens tends to and sprouts, they tend to not be toxic outside of maybe, any contamination.
Mhm.
Um, so it might be okay. I see some YouTube videos on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you probably could, sprout it. I don't know about how edible they are. I've never really looked into them.
Yeah. Yeah, I have very little experience with actual carob pods or cacao or anything like that. One, I've never seen it in the stores. Where do you are you which area are you in? Are you in like a warmer climate or how do you
Yeah,
Okay.
I live in like the desert,
Oh,
so
you do.
it's
Okay.
not just warm, it's hot. Very
Right.
hot.
Cool. Nice. I'm jealous.
I think I'm trying to think if I've seen carob ponds and stuff.
Mhm.
So one time I did buy carob nibs
Mm.
and they come
I
from
have
like
seen those.
Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have eaten them and they're kind of like hard as a rock. So you gotta like put them in water to get them a little bit softened.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I've seen the pods before. I'm trying to think where.
Yeah.
Um but I think I've seen the pods before.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing the seeds. Now what we have here is more like tamarinds.
Oh,
So
yeah. I have seen those at the Asian market.
yeah, but
Yep.
not so much carob. And I think it just has to do with the fact that it's not from America. It's
Right.
from uh like I think the Middle East or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even think it's native to Australia. Carob native to because I always look at it as to where it's native to. Yeah,
Mm.
Eastern Mediterranean and Middle East.
Okay.
Exactly.
Nice.
Um, I think it's even in the Bible or something.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay, cool.
yeah, there's a lot of history with the carobs. There were some like stories about people living off of carobs only in caves and all
Really?
that stuff. Yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, carob is also called St. John's bread
Okay.
'cause he lived off of it too.
Wow. Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
it says oh yeah, you know what? They have a lot of Caribbean gum, so you can eat the beans, I think, like, they're called beans, but they're seeds. Um,
Right.
I think that's where the lectins are, because when they talk about how
Mhm.
bad lectins are, it's usually in the gum.
Gotcha.
So, if you remove probably the gum part,
Mhm.
then they said that you can eat the carabines.
Okay.
So I'd probably, like, leach out the gum.
Just by soaking it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I don't really know.
Okay.
But, that's a starting point.
Yeah. That's good to
There
know.
you go.
Thank you for that. Um, Judith
Anytime.
asked if I have a raw pumpkin pie recipe. I actually don't have one written down. I have done the one that Fully Raw Christina has a video on. That was the one that I did initially, and that's kind of what I've just kind of used as my reference for whenever I make it. So I would look up Fully Raw Christina's raw pumpkin pie, and I'm not sure, maybe Extropian has her own recipe, but that's the one that I use is Fully Raw Christina's.
Yeah, I did mention it earlier,
Yep.
the the pumpkin pie.
Oh, that's right.
It's on my
Yes.
website,
Yeah, you did.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, Raw Christina has the, like, pumpkin spice lattes. I don't really eat those, so
Okay.
and I think there's plenty of, like, pumpkin pie smoothie recipes and, stuff like that, smoothie bowls,
Yep.
so you can always do those.
Cool.
Yeah. I heard Oh, so I was wondering, like, do you know if squashes in general are edible raw? I know like zucchini and pumpkin, but I heard
Yeah,
acorn squash you can eat raw, but
I think I think it depends on the squash, the winter squash. Yeah, the I'm pretty sure spaghetti squash you can do raw. The acorn squash I think you can do raw, but honestly, I don't know that I would even do that for the most part. I don't know that it would digest that well because it's still, I think, like almost overly starchy. So I don't know. I don't have
yeah.
much experience with raw winter squash, so but I do know that some of them are, and I think some of them probably would be much harder to digest.
Yeah, that's true. So I know if you could do date syrup instead of maple syrup. Well, dates they don't come from the US either, but anyway, well, you gotta work with what you got for now. But
Right,
anyway,
right.
I heard you could do mashed potatoes raw because I know Raw Vegancy did just like soaked potatoes and then ran it through a juicer.
Really?
And yeah, I know you could do, from Rob Greenfield, he explained you could do, like, sweet potato raw,
Yeah.
and you could do of course, the juice and stuff, but, yeah,
Yep.
you can do raw potatoes. I mean, as long as they don't have green spots, I heard that people who worked in potato fields, they would eat it raw because it was so fresh
Okay.
and, juicy and everything. It's just when it gets drier, it gets a little harder to eat, but I guess if you soak it, it should be okay. But yeah, if you just run it through, I guess a juicer, you know, you get the potato juice and you get the pulp, and that's like mashed potatoes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Well,
side of corn, side of green beans.
I'm gonna let you guys try
Anyway, go
that
ahead.
out and report back to me. I don't know that I'm gonna be doing any raw potato dishes this Thanksgiving, but if you do, let me know how it goes, and maybe I'll change my mind on that.
Or
Have
you
you
could try
actually done
sweet
it, or
potato,
I
raw
have
sweet
done?
potato.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
done raw sweet potato before, and it didn't. I didn't eliminate it that well, so I didn't do it after that. Like it was all
Ah.
right, but not my favorite.
And what about sweet potato juice?
I have done. I've not done sweet potato juice on its own, but I have used it in like a mixture of a juice, which was pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe something kind of like that.
Yep.
I bet there's, you know, some pretty good like uh juice recipes that are
For
for
sure.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
I well, there's always the side of cranberries. I don't think it's too hard to go like raw vegan for Thanksgiving because there's so many options and so much stuff that's already like pretty uh you know fruit and veggie base that's straight from the harvest that
Right.
they're not really cooking it too much. Outside, like most of the cooking's done with the turkey, so
Yeah.
and no one's gonna be cooking like any of the other stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, the preparation again is key. Like if you can look up ahead of time, just find some good recipes, and like Extropian said, it's really not that hard to make it through, especially Thanksgiving, because there are so many delicious recipes that are very satisfying and filling and festive. You know, you don't really feel like you're missing out because everything tastes so good, and it feels just like you're having a holiday meal. So it's not much different. You're just replacing a lot of the normal cooked stuff that people have, and you know, having your own delicious raw stuff. So not too hard, but you do need to find the recipes that you like. And I think the hardest part is the social part for people. So you know, that's a whole nother story.
So do you have any like thoughts on making like a Thanksgiving gingerbread and
Mm,
that gingerbread is different than the Christmas gingerbread because it has pumpkin in it, because people are like, "I thought gingerbread's for Christmas." And I'm like, "No, it's for Thanksgiving too."
I don't. I've never tried to make a gingerbread. So, do you have a recipe for gingerbread as well?
I was asking you, but thinking
Okay.
about it in my head, it's like you're gonna have like the pumpkin, the ginger,
Yeah,
the spices, like the cinnamon. Um, I bet you could just probably add some nuts to it, and then
sure.
you pretty much have, or like seeds, like pumpkin seeds, and you could pretty much have like your own gingerbread. But I'd have to like look into it more to make an actual recipe
Yeah,
out of it. I
same.
don't think it should be too hard. Um,
Yeah.
Usually I make like raw bread from like fruit and like nuts and seeds put together, and then I roll it into like in spices, and
Okay.
that's how I eat it.
Nice. It
Um,
doesn't sound too hard.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Um, what do you do for bread? Do you just not eat it, or do you
Yeah.
replace it with something else?
No, I've for, as long as I've been doing this, I did make a raw onion bread like one time, like probably a decade ago, and I liked it. And I just haven't made it since. But I keep saying I'm gonna go back and make some raw bread because I see people, I see various other people making it, and it looks good, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I
Yeah,
know what's her name? The woman in Florida, she's like 75 and she looks like she's 45 or something.
I think I know who
Annette
you're
Larkin.
talking about.
Annette Larkin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know she had I think an onion bread that she made that I wanted to make. So
Mhm.
somebody could look up on YouTube Annette Larkin onion bread or something like that, and you could probably find a good recipe there.
Yeah, for me, I don't like doing like much dehydrated foods, because that's why I notice with like breads, especially, they just like dehydrate it.
Yeah.
I feel like you could actually make like a lot of foods are naturally dry that are like, what's it called? That are raw.
Uh-huh.
I mean, flower petals are kind of like already pretty dry. So
Yeah.
I sometimes I'll think about like sunflower bread.
Okay.
Um yeah, I mean seeds too.
Yep.
Except fresh seeds tend to be a little more um have more
Water rich.
moisture.
Right.
Yeah. But for the most part, you don't really need I just don't think you really need like to dehydrate anything. It's like by the time you start mixing everything, it's pretty much gonna dry on its own. Like
Mhm.
that's what I noticed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um I guess here's some other recipes I'm looking at here. Um so, like, for my family, we used to do, like, mixed nuts for, like, dessert. They weren't really big on, like, sweets for dessert.
Okay.
Then you can also do, like, mushroom gravy. Um, you could do creamed spinach, and when I say creamed, I mean kind of more like, macerated, like, broken down rather than adding, like, dairy to it,
Right,
because
right.
there's different like, different ideas of what creamed means.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you could do that. Um,
Creamed
and
corn
then
was one of
there's
my favorite
Mhm,
favorite things as a kid.
right?
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's beets, and then there's something special called, like, hickory nuts.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, I don't think so, like, you can make a hickory nut pie, and my family used to make a lot of recipes with hickory nuts because they would actually like forage for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I know, so like hickories are related to like walnuts and pecans, and those they have this kind of like green stage, and before they dry, and it's usually in the summer, and you can actually eat the like walnuts in that green stage, and I believe you could. I'm guessing that you could probably do so for like the hickory. So like one time I went to like the forest with the hickory nuts, and I was like opening them up because it was, like, green and really easy to open the shell,
Uh-huh.
and it was, like, jelly inside, and it, like, smelled kinda like lychees and grapes, and
Wow.
I wanted to try it, but My family is like, "If you're gonna visit, you can't be foraging." I was like, I always wanted to know what it was like, but, if anyone tries that, it's probably I heard that it is edible and it's a delicacy, so maybe you
Interesting.
could make it like some sort of pie or drink or something with it
Yeah.
in that raw stage, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, of course, there's the Brussels sprouts,
Mm.
um, carrot cake, which that's easy to make raw,
Yep.
peach cobbler, fruit compote, that was the one I was gonna say, fruit compote, I
Hmm.
I love that for Thanksgiving. It's,
Okay.
like, spiced and fruit.
Wow.
It's just too easy, you know?
Yeah,
It's too
it really
easy.
is. Once you get the hang of it, yeah, it's easy. So,
Yeah, you just need to get that, like, gel part, replaced because it's when you cook it that the pectins come out
sure.
to create that gel. So I bet like the green walnut gel or like the hickory nut could probably be put in
Very
to make
nice.
that work. Yeah,
That sounds
there you
awesome.
go.
There it is.
Yeah,
You guys heard it first right here.
right.
Um,
I think there was, like, one last thing, like, if we're gonna do things like the in American way, you
yep.
gotta do, like, the red, white, and blue, blueberries come from the US, I think
Yeah.
raspberries too, and then there's, for the white, I was thinking yesterday, and you could do stuff like, peaches, white peaches and, um, white strawberries, stuff like that. There you go.
Wow.
Well,
That's
e
the most American dish you could make right there.
yes. Of course, fruit salad, like
Right. For
but
sure.
that's 4th of July, you know?
Yep.
We're doing
Yep.
Thanksgiving here.
Nice. All right. So Annie said raw squash doesn't digest well with me. Plus, it tastes horrible. So Annie's not a fan of the raw squash.
Yeah, it's funny? Like, I was doing, like, a vegan database for Argentina,
mm,
and what they would do is they would put, like, some really heavy chemicals to break down the squash to make it like a candy. I think they would use like lye for it to do
oh,
so. And
really?
some people were like, "Oh, I don't want to use like the lye." And so they were trying to find these other chemicals to use. I think they used like alcohol or something,
Mm,
but it was not much better. So
right.
someone needs to find a really actual alternative, you
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
There you go.
Kayleen says Annette is now over 80 and she is still an invited speaker. So I should try to get her on the show too. I don't see
Yeah.
much of her. I don't really see much. I don't see her doing many interviews or anything like that, but she might be fun to have on the show. So I'll have to look into that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, your guests are pretty good so far.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've enjoyed having everybody on and you as well. This has been a great
yeah,
show just in itself. So thank you for
definitely.
spending some time with us and sharing these recipes and this holiday, inspiration. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Were there any other questions or
I didn't see any.
anything? Oh, cool, cool.
No, there were some comments, but I didn't see any other questions. Yeah, we got
No
through them all.
worries.
So yeah.
Think I'll head out on that.
Okay.
No, I'll be doing some, presentation at a conference later, so
Later today?
yeah.
Oh, wow. What's that for?
It's the V-Cop, so I think they're trying to, like, save the world with veganism, so
Wow.
I'm doing a presentation on shift over to a vegan economy.
Oh, I love
So,
it. That's
there you
awesome.
go.
Yeah. Are you,
Yeah,
you are you going to record it? Do
I
you have a
think they
YouTube?
will.
Do you have a YouTube or anything?
Yeah, I have a YouTube, I just don't use it much
Okay.
outside of, like, messaging everyone.
Gotcha. All right. Well, if you feel, I mean, if you should post it or
Yeah, I could do that.
send us the link if whoever's recording it puts it up.
I have the presentation on my website
Oh, okay.
under, art. I could email you the link to that one. Um, so you could put it into the chat.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Let's see if I could do this. I really need to put. I should put the link to it. Let me see if I could do it this way.
Okay, cool.
Because sometimes when I open it, it's in my account, and then it won't open, for anyone else.
Right.
Here, I'll send it to you right now. I'm probably going to update it though, so
Okay.
it might not like be around forever, but if it does get updated, I'll show you where it is on my website. Like right there. There you go. So
Okay.
there it is. I just sent it.
Perfect. All right.
That way, there's something that I feel a little bit like nervous about giving out my presentation before I present it, but that's okay. Not
Right.
everyone's gonna show up.
Sure.
And I'll try to like post the recording in my YouTube channel if they give it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you
Well,
go.
good luck with the presentation. I'm sure it's going
Thank
to
you.
go awesome. And yeah, we
I
look
hope
forward
so too.
to seeing you or chatting with you again next time we do a call-in show.
Yay. That sounds great. I
All
look forward to
right.
that.
For sure. Well,
Cool.
thank you. Have a great
Yeah.
day.
Thanks, you too. See ya.
Thanks. Yep. Bye. All right. There you have it, guys. That was fun. Got some great information there from Extropian. And I think I called you Jen earlier. I meant Brit. But I apologize for that. So yeah, let's yeah. Any other questions? I do have to jump off here in just a few minutes. So I hope you guys are having a great day. And yeah, I don't see any other questions. But oh, what's up, Jamie? Hey, good to see you, Jamie. One of these days you got to jump on here too. That'd be cool. This is a live call-in show. You can join the show. I got a box here you can pop into, and the link is further up in the chat. But yeah, so I do have to get going here in a few minutes, though. So any last questions before I hop off? Otherwise, I will have to see you guys next week, or just follow my Instagram posts if I can get some posted. It's been a pretty wild last week or two, so it's getting pretty busy over here in the raw intuition land. But we're making it through, and I'm gonna hopefully get some more stuff posted here. I got to get a newsletter out. That's been on my mind for like a month now. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, definitely subscribe. You can get the link in the description box down below. And yeah, I'll get a newsletter out here soon. It's going to have some good info, and I like to just share any new affiliate codes that I've got, which, just a reminder, my newest affiliate product is Dr. Ben's Green Force, really great green powder. It's got organic, it's all organic, barley grass juice powder, wheatgrass juice powder, moringa leaf powder, amla powder, nettle leaf powder, broccoli sprout powder, and spirulina. So putting that in my smoothies now, and you can get 20% off using code RAWINTUITION20 at vizfoods.co down in the description box below. So definitely check that out. It's some good stuff. And still not seeing any questions, so I think I will take this as the sign to sign off for the rest of the day. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today. It's always great hanging out with you guys. And if you have any questions before the next show, just send me an email at matt@myrawintuition.com. And I'm hoping next week we have a fun new guest. Again, today's guest had to reschedule for another time. But next week, I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that I'm going to have a really fun guest that I think we're going to talk, hopefully, about how to prepare for the holidays and stuff like that. So Anyways, have a great day, guys, and always follow your raw intuition. See you later.